Hey, and we are live. Woohoo! Today I am with a beautiful lady, Nihan. Hi, Nihan.
Hello, hello. So nice to be here.
It's beautiful to have you here. And today we are going to talk about one of the classes that I personally adore attending, and it's going to be my first time facilitating, which is a Talk 10T's specialty class, house and space cleaning from A to Z. And you may be wondering, what is this class for? And this class is, first of all, for those that have never heard entities. This would be a class that we actually talk and acknowledge the entities that's in a land or in a space, and they may be stuck. And what do I mean by entities? Entities is beings that don't have a body anymore. Like, actually, Nihan is an entity, I am an entity, but we are entities with bodies, and then there's beings that don't have bodies anymore. And these can be stuck in a certain place or a certain house, and they may not even be aware of this. And example, this could be a lady that from was from let's say a mom from the Second World Wars, and she's waiting at home for her son to return, and she may not even realize that she doesn't have a body anymore. And then you enter a house, and then you started to feel weird, wonky, and you are just aware of something. And personally, for me, that was the way that entities mostly showed up for me. Like, I wouldn't see them. I will seldom see them, and it would be like I would just like see them kind of like in a moment. It would be like as though like I see something in the corner of my eye, and it mostly for me that would be a sensation, and a sensation of thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Like, I would be starting to get worried, like the moment that I enter the house, or like I would have like different thoughts that I would normally won't have. Like, I was like, oh, like I have to clean this, or I have to like I would be like super OCD, and not from like a generative way, but a destructive way. And that's one of the ways that I now know that I may be aware of an entity. And you can actually ask this. You can ask, like, that's the first question that we invite people to ask: is this an entity? And like when even I asked that, like how many of you, your body get relaxed? Like, at least like when I asked that question, I can perceive my whole system just get relaxed. I was like, oh, actually, I am aware of an entity. And it just my body just calms down. And actually that's one of the things that it creates, like when you acknowledge what it is, instead of thinking like, oh, like I am upset or I am worrying. Like, isn't it so interesting that before that you enter the house, or before you enter that space, you didn't have any of these thought, feelings, and emotions, and the moment that you physically go into this place, there's all of these thoughts, there's all of these feelings, there's all of these emotions that's coming up, and like, and this class is going to be a 3 hours dive in, where I get to give you like some tools, some exercises, so you can actually starting to clear, cooperate, receive, and communicate with these beings, these entities that are stuck. So you don't have to be effect of it, but you can actually take action and change and shift these energies in the house or in the space that you are in. Hmm. Is there anything that you want to add, Nihan?
I love these tools. They're so generative. I'm someone who used to be in so much effect of entities in any space. I would
Mm,
walk in and I would lose myself. I would turn into almost a different person. It would affect my eating. If there were entities around who maybe experienced famine, I would binge eat. And then my body wouldn't feel good because it wasn't my body asking for it. And learning these tools has really helped me have more clarity about what is my energy and what's not my energy, what needs to be cleared. Also the contribution of many beings without beings who would like to contribute to me and my space and the land, especially when there may be conflict, dispute over the property, and I found that there's usually something that's asking to be cleared or a contribution is required. So I'm very grateful for the tools and I'm really looking forward to this class.
and I love like what you say regarding to eating, and like that was one of the ways that it would show up for me. Like I would actually be aware of all of these entities, and exactly like the way like Nyan said, like they would starve to death, and I would go, oh, like I have to eat more, I have to eat more, I have to eat more, even if I had a sense that my body was full and actually it didn't want to eat more, I would just keep eating because I was not willing to have the awareness that I was actually aware of these beings that was looking to communicate with me. And only problem is being created from the rejection and the unconsciousness that we brought towards these beings. Like, and there is a massive campaign that's going on around the world that if you're aware of entities, that you're crazy, there is something wrong with you, like you're making all of this up, and like and that's like one part of it, which is a huge part of it. And then there's a lot of like misinformation about what entities is. Like if you're talking about entities, it's going to look like this. And at least the way I have been exposed to entities was usually like a scary lady that like screaming. So I was like, I don't want to be part of any of this exactly. And I was like, I don't want to do anything to have with this. And like I shut my awareness down, but actually what happened was it's like when you have a pile of shit in your house, instead of actually dealing with it, it's like you putting under the carpet so you don't see it, but you can still smell it. And it's like you're like, this is smelling really, really bad. And because you're like, no, but I'm not gonna look at it, I'm not gonna touch it, I'm not gonna clear it, I'm not going to engage with it. And then you actually starting to become effective of it. And like for me, that was what was happening. And I'm so grateful for Shannon O'Hara for willing to be a voice in the world and actually being a voice of sanity when it comes to entities. Like she was like, hey, actually, there is some simple and basic tools that you can use to change this, to shift these energies so you don't have to become effectivist anymore. You can take action and actually you can contribute to these beings. Like maybe a being that don't have a body anymore, they're not even aware they don't have a body anymore. And you saying to them, hey, do you know what? You actually don't have a body anymore. And your son is doesn't have a body anymore. So he's not gonna come here. And then they're like, oh my God, I never acknowledged this. And they get to move on and they actually get to have choice and they have to get to, to have a lighter reality. And how beautiful in my personal point of view that I get to contribute to them. And when you are willing to receive from these beings, they get to contribute to you as well in many different and unexpected ways. And it's just so big. Like that's why actually we are having this class, because there's so many topics to explore and talk about. Like that's one of the parts of it. The other part of it actually could be like a person that was living in your house, like what they have instituted, like energetically, because all the molecules, including your house, have consciousness. And like to example of this, like I would just stay in an Airbnb. I was just in an Airbnb, like I just lived this morning in London, and the owner of the lady, I get to meet with her. She had a lot of control, a lot of control and a lot of OCD about how this should be and how this shouldn't be, and what you have to do and what you shouldn't be doing. And I can have, there was a lot of OCD that was going on, but not in a generative way, but a contraction way. And actually, I could perceive that I wanted to go into the contraction. And I was like, actually, for a moment, I was like, I was going into OCD, and I was like, holy moly, like how much this is the lady like instituting this reality into the house, and how much I'm aware of this. And the moment that I just acknowledged that, I was like, oh my God. And in the past, like I would just keep going in OCD. I would try to like clear everything. I would try to make sure everything is in perfect place. And I would just like flipping around. But now I actually get to ask a question and be aware of what I am aware of, and allow and be that energy that opens up to a different possibility. And the moment that I choose that, I can perceive the whole house was like, oh my gosh, like it's so beautiful to have you here. Instead of someone that's trying to control everything, there's actually a being that's willing to receive. And and that is possible when you are willing to engage with every molecule in your life. And I know like most of you that you're listening probably are already talking with animals and um and plants or all kind of objects. And now we would love to invite you to engage with your house, engage with the space that you're in, and actually open up to this weird, wonky, and magical world of entities, so you can start to be effect instead of being the effect of what you are aware of. Hmm. Hey, how does it get any better?
How does it get in? When is our class and how can they register?
Our class is on May 6th, which is in 2 days, and it's going to be starting from 7 p.m. Central European Time to 10. It's a 3-hour class with a little break in between, and I can pop, or someone will be popping the link into the comments. And yeah, come join us. We have Turkish translation. Jan is translating in Turkish. We have French translation. We have Portuguese translation. So we have some translation going on. How did we get so lucky? And if you know you require this information and education about entities and house and how to clear these spaces, come join us. It's going to be a fun 3 hours. I'm so looking forward to it.
Me too. Thank you so much for all of this information. I'm inspired each time by what these tools can create.
And I'm so, so grateful for your willingness to be something different and tell your experience and actually invite people to a different possibility, and actually willing to them to know it's okay to be weird, and it's okay to talk to the spirits and be aware of ghosts. This is the lifetime that we don't get to be punished, but actually we get to receive and use our abilities to thrive and create a lighter, brighter, more fun and joyful reality on planet Earth. So how does it get any better? Thank you so much, Nihan, for being here with me. Thank you so much, everybody. And if you get to be a contribution, come join us. Beautiful. Bye, everyone. I hope this be a contribution to you.